Let me just bring up the volume a little bit. There we go. All right. Welcome everybody to the show. I'm going to be picking up where I left off on Sunday with my Exeter scene, Isca Dumnoniorum. So I've done a bit of work on this scene over the last weekend. I haven't done anything since, so if you saw Sunday's stream, you'll see that I got to this point in the city walls, and I've got the gates are all in, and the towers are mostly in, and I've been basically building up the rampart sections to join all that together. So this pack is from the Unity asset store. Let me just quickly bring up the pack so that you know what I'm talking about. And this particular asset. No, don't want that. I want the asset store. Okay, that's better. Okay, so in the Unity asset store, if you look for detailed medieval, you'll get this Astrofish Games group. So they've made a number of packs. So the pack that I'm using for Exeter, or Isca Dumnoniorum, is this one, Medieval Castle. It's got lots of tower sections and wall sections that I'm using a lot of these towers at the back here, and you can see they've got various walkways that join up, and they join up with the wall sections that will be where are we? So many sections in here. There we go. There's various wall sections, stairwell sections. Pretty much you build whatever you want. It's quite an extensive kit. It looks great from a distance. It also looks great up close. So that's the pack that I've been essentially building up the city walls with so far. I will also be using one of the other Astrofish packs called Medieval Village, and this pack basically has the residential houses. So you know, they're pretty sort of ramshackle places. They have a lot of character. Some of them are an asset that you can only look at from the outside. Others are ones that you can actually make walkable. So within the pack, I think it's here, you can see the sections of these buildings are prefab walls and roof sections, say, and doorways and things like that. So you can actually make these traversable in terms of getting inside those buildings, and other ones are like this, which is basically to look at from the outside. So there's going to be a combination in this city. There'll be a mixture of these. The other pack that the other Astrofish Games pack that I have that I'll be using, and I've actually discovered where the well is going to go in the city walls. I've found a map which shows where that well is, and I have this pack from Astrofish Games, detailed wells and props, and there's some quite nice props here to sort of just plonk into the village and make it look even more realistic. Lots of nice assets to work with there. The other one that I have a lot of is the what are they called? They're called go to my list of my assets. I think it's 3D Forge is the name of them. There we go. So there's quite a lot of 3D Forge packs. Medieval Adventure, fishing villages, medieval markets, graveyards, city walls. I'm not so much probably going to be using the city walls for Exeter, although the style is very much like how I understand Exeter was, with these sort of crenellated areas, but I will be using this for other hill forts and things like that in the game. But the ones that I'm mostly interested for Exeter are the graveyard, the medieval markets. So there is a market section of the city, and that's going to be quite suitable to use these particular assets for the markets. And certainly the fishing village part will be quite useful down by the docks. So there will be these sort of walkway plank type arrangements down at the dock, and probably I might even be using the sewer kit and the catacombs kit, castles and cathedrals parts as well from 3D4. Just quite a lot of packs here that I've purchased over the last couple of years, and so I'll be cherry picking some things out of this to put into the Exeter scene, and obviously just trying to keep the art style fairly consistent, even though they've come from different artists. So that's probably all I want to say about the packs at the moment. That my scene here is, if you've not watched the channel before, this is a terrain map that I've made from a height map of Exeter in Devon in England, and this has, if I go up a bit further, so you can see the city walls there. I've got a height map here which if I can bring that up, there we go. So that's the actual modern day city of Exeter, with the river going past, a couple of bridges, goes past out to Exmouth and out to the sea, and then at the highest point up here is where the castle actually is. There's Rougemont Castle actually is there today, and the boundary of the city walls there, you can kind of see it passing down here and across and back up again. That is actually the original Roman walls, and part of those walls still exist to this day, and obviously the walls have been built on over the years to repair them and so forth. So the walls as they are in Zarktor's realm do represent the position of the Roman walls. I've made them obviously a little bit stylistically a little bit different from maybe what the Romans had. This is about 500 AD, so this is, you know, a few hundred years after the Romans have gone. Exeter was converted from a military barracks location. It was the second Legion, Augustus Legion, that was based here. And I believe toward the end of the Roman occupation they moved the Romans to Isca, Caerleon in Wales, which became the other major centre of operations. So I've actually found, a little bit more digging throughout the week, I found another map. This is a map of the city walls. On the outside you can see Rougemont Castle on the Rougemont, the Red Mount. You can see the height map there, and this section, this dotted line section here, is the original area that the Romans were using inside the city wall. So obviously you have these multiple layers of defence, and this is the inside of the Roman area, and then they've got the outside area as well, and I believe the barracks were actually up here. One of the other diagrams that I've got, this was an analysis that was done of the defences of Rome, the Roman defences of all the walls and so forth, and you can see this particular map here, you can see here's the Roman fortress defences, and in this top section here, sort of the northeast part, as it goes closer to the city, that's really where the barracks were originally. And I've kind of used this section of the city as the government sector, but ultimately it might have been the military sector at the time. So yeah, that's where the barracks is. There was an aqueduct that went out, there was bridges and all sorts of things going on. This is the North Gate, and in Zarktor's realm model here, the North Gate is off here, so basically the barracks are round about here. So I've got that information. So I've got this height map in here, and that's obviously allowed me to build the terrain to actually match at least the terrain of today. And I leave that like that because I may do some work with the river. And you can see right down here is where the dock is. Here's the water gate going into the city walls, and this is where I would be using that fishing village probably to build stuff along the river line. I'll take out the height map, put in the street map. This is a Google street map of how it is today. If I bring that up, I'm going to move my camera over the top, so a little bit easier to see, a little bit closer in as well. And again, you can see Castle Rougemont at the top, poking through the terrain, and you can actually see that today's structure of modern day Exeter does actually line up with these lines, and they line up with where the gates are, and they also line up with where the modern day wall is, which is built on top of the Roman wall. So that's how I've effectively sort of modelled it. Now what I've done is to use the Google Street View to mark up where the main roads are, and in my last couple of videos I had these blocked out with rectangles to just sort of place them and get the points of interest in the right locations. I've now painted the terrain, so you can see that I've painted those roads on to make them a little bit easier to work with in terms of placing assets into the environment. You can see there's some churches, there's the cathedral, and the city walls and things. So basically I'm just sort of starting to build up the assets on top of this map, and the reason I'm fairly comfortable that this map is somewhat representative is that I'm finding more and more historical drawings of how Exeter looked throughout the ages, not so much back in the Roman times. We really only got the wall and the archaeological studies to base that on, but things like this. So that here's a drawing that was done of Rougemont Castle in the 13th century. So Rougemont Castle's up here. I believe this view is looking at, let me just jump over to Rougemont Castle and up a bit here. So this is actually the city gate behind Rougemont Castle. Rougemont Castle's in here, but what we've done is to actually create an exit out the back of the city walls, and that's what I'm going to be probably doing some work on, is to actually have a bridge across, potentially with a drawbridge with a moat across this area. And you can see there's actually a ditch around the outside of the city, which makes a lot of sense. So if you're down at ground level down here and you're looking up there, there's going to be a further ditch in here, and it would be quite hard to scale those city walls from the outside, certainly if this is water. The landscape will be extended out in that direction, probably in all directions, but I'm just starting with the outside of the city. So there's that drawing, which I was quite pleased to find. That was in a website that was discussing Exeter's history, and in particular Rougemont Castle's history. And if I just bring up that article, Castles and Witches by Anita Davison. Now, this particular article says that's how Rougemont Castle looks today, or part of the wall. Rougemont Castle was actually where they did witch trials, and in fact the Devon witches, 1685, these witches were executed. They were the last people in England to be executed for witchcraft, and so this obviously has some history here, and yeah, that was a very interesting article, very, very useful, and this is the first time I'd actually seen this bridge work across from the back of the city walls, so at the back of the Rougemont Castle. So it wasn't just a wall that went around the outside, there was actually a way across into the castle that wasn't through the city itself. So there's that one. This is the main diagram that I've been using to build up the city. So this is 1563. And I guess the thing that I wanted to draw on for this diagram is the fact that you've got the River Exe coming in from the north, flowing south out to the sea, out to Exmouth this way. You look like you've got a weir here. There's some boats obviously all around here. You've got the main bridge in and out of obviously the city and across to the other side, comes out of the west gate. So let me jump over there, and you'll see that at today's map it's got two bridges there, but back in the medieval times there was one bridge, and I've got to try and locate where that was. I don't know if it was over the top of this bridge, it might have been off to the side. In fact, I think one of these in here is actually the current bridge, which has survived. At least it's survived on land. I think the River Exe has probably changed its path since medieval times, so I may end up relocating the current map. I'm just going to hide that map. I don't need it for the time being. So yeah, the path of the river will be perhaps a little bit different. Another couple of diagrams. So this one is 1617, and you can see the castle yard. There's the bridge section out the back of the castle, obviously a few towers. There's a well, and obviously that locates the well. There's gardens and all these sort of things around the outside of the castle, but then you've got these sort of castle walls, and then you've got houses off this side. here's where the barracks was. So you're not looking at the whole city, but you're looking at sort of this segment up here. So that kind of gives me some clues as to what might have been in the location. Certainly this is 1600s, whereas I'm modelling something that's 500 AD, so 1,000 years before. But it does give clues as to what the structure of this was. This is 1744. There's the bridge, so that gives me an indication that it's come out through the west gate and straight across the river, and it gives me some indication of where the river actually flowed under the bridge. And then there's these little waterways in here that join up with the water gate out of the city, which is about here. Then there's Southern Hay, and there's obviously a section out. There's Northern Hay, which runs outside the city walls as well. So that's quite useful to sort of overlay what's going on in the city. There's the cathedral, and so these roads probably haven't changed since maybe even Roman times. 1744 that was. Here's another one from 1744, and this one's got quite a bit more detail in it. And yeah, so I've got maps of the other side of the hill, in terms of it sort of goes down obviously to the lowest point and back up the other side. And there are some quite useful drawings here of what it looked like. You can kind of see the city walls, the height of them, and you can kind of see the ditch, the north view of the castle. So there was obviously quite a ditch on the castle side, which obviously made it quite defensible. Lots of farmland around it, and lots of boats in the water, obviously. So there's a weir, so that kind of confirms our thinking about the weir. And Rougemont Castle is there. There's a chapel. Lots of information to pull out. Again, the cathedral. So the locations come up again and again and again in these diagrams, and that's sort of tells me that I'm in the right locale. And this one is 1792. That's actually rotated. That's better. So there's Rougemont Castle at the top. And again, every now and again there's just a clue with something. So yeah, I may draw on some of these things as needed, particularly where it comes to modelling a specific area. So like the quay here, you come out through the water gate and you've got the quay. Obviously the water runs, the main river runs down here, but then it's channeled off as well into these canals, which I suspect are just used to onload and offload. So it looks like coal quay, so maybe they were onloading and offloading coal to the city, but you could have other boats that could just go up the river and not have to stop in at the city. So yeah, lots of things going on around here. I want to try and model it, not perfectly accurately, but at least try and represent it. Okay, so this is the modern day, the medieval Exeter Bridge. I believe this is somewhere up here is the western gate that you would go into the city. That might even be the stairwell that went up into it. So things have moved around a little bit, but this is obviously the style of the bridges of the time, going back to early Roman times. And you can see the brickwork. Obviously, the materials have changed, the workmanship has changed because it's been added to and maintained over hundreds and hundreds of years. So what else is there? The only other thing I guess to sort of mention is the fact that I'm working to get this Exeter scene playable. So I've been, in the last stream, I've been going into play mode to just put in the Gaia. I'm using Gaia for the landscape and for the main sort of landscape terrain mapping at the moment. Just to make sure that I can move the character through the scene and up and down the stairwells, because you can actually navigate through the inside of the city walls, the ramparts. You can get up on the top of the ramparts, you can walk along the top of the wall, you can go up and down in the towers, you can come out, you can go through the gates, so it's all traversable. And I'm trying to get to the point where you can actually traverse all the way around the city walls, right around the city. And you can get out at many, many points as well, so it's quite an intricate network of pathways. But this is not using the real characters. The real characters that I've been building are these ones. These are now 12 player characters. One's fallen over here. There's 12 player characters in the game, and this is effectively the character creation or character selection screen. We've got 2 Templar Knights, 2 mages, 2 assassins, 2 knights, 2 warriors, and then we've got a demon hunter and we've got a demon stroke necromancer. So these 2 are quite interesting because I think they may be sisters. So one's actually hunting the other, which I think might be an interesting twist on it. Anyway, so there's the characters. They're basically prepped to a degree. I need to put a bit more integration with them to do the Malbers horse riding. This character here does have the Malbers horse riding already on it. But as soon as I get a few of these running with Malbers, I'm going to be bringing them into this Exeter scene and having them traverse through here, because it's a big city. It's about 1 kilometre wide by about 600 metres across, and it does take a while to sort of move around in the city to traverse it, so having a horse riding and being able to get from one section to the other for the testing is quite good. Anyway, let me put it into play mode to show you what the state of play is with this level at the moment. Exeter will be a central part of the game. There's lots of locations here that will be tied into the game, above ground and below ground as well. Well, let me just move that out of the way a bit more screen space. Okay, so just going to head off down this way. These transparent grey boxes were my way of just positioning points of interest, and I've made them, I've taken away the colliders so that you can walk through them, but it's just my way of being able to locate that big thing in the middle there is the cathedral. Alright, so this is the west gate. I believe you'd come out of here and you'd actually go across that bridge section and across the River Exe and over to the other side somewhere over there. So this is the view that you'd have from the west. And you can try and get up this. I've actually tried to scale the walls as a player character, and every now and again you can find these metal things here, so you can kind of get up a little bit higher, but you can have a lot of trouble getting to the top because they actually it then comes out, so you'd need grappling hooks and things like that to scale this thing from the outside. That's if the portcullises were down. Coming around here, so this is the water gate, and this is where the dockyard section will be. This is where a lot of the boats will be offloading. This is where the fishing villages will be, and I think I might be able to scale this if I fill around. There we go, I can get into there at the moment. So I'm up now at the water gate. I'm going to bring up the ground level on the inside of the wall just near here to be probably in line with this, so it might sort of slope up to this level here. But the rest of the city is actually the correct height. I'm just doing this so that we've got a nice high city wall, and I want to be able to excavate this side to basically make a ditch around the outside as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go all the way up to the top of the ramparts, if I can do that. So I'm now at a little halfway point, so you can see there's quite a few staircases. Here's the portcullis controls, and I get up to here, I can jump and I can get up. Okay, so this whole rampart section is traversable. You can, if I jump across there, we can get through, and we can then run along the ramparts. There's a few sections which I haven't joined up particularly well, so I've got to fix that, but for the most part it's roughly where it needs to be. And then you've got these sections here with arrow slits and various other defences. You come across to the towers, and the towers allow you to go up and down and exit, come back out the other side, and it's the same all the way around. So this is this medieval, detailed medieval castle set that is doing this. You can see a few things I've got to fix. The flag is not flying, so there's no cloth animation on that. I need to fix that. Let's go up the top of this staircase. Whoop. And we're up to the top here. So that tower, the taller tower there, is called Albatross Tower. So that was obviously a lookout, the main sort of lookout for Exeter on the west side, being the tallest tower, and that's probably where attacks would have come in from. From the sea. Certainly they'd come up the River Exe and then try and attack the city, and that would be the main lookout point. Down here is the north, so we're on the north side of the city now, and this is the north gate that I'm approaching. obviously need to join up these wall sections, and you can see the ground actually slopes slopes up, slopes down. I'm going to need to take that into account when I actually join these wall sections, the rampart sections together, because we need to make sure that the you can get in and out of the various stairwells and passageways. This is the north wall that would go out, and then we're sort of heading towards Rougemont Castle up the hill, so it's getting steeper and steeper, and there's probably a couple more towers to put in around here. I believe the city itself had, the castle itself had a tower around here. This is kind of the location of the barracks at Roman times. That's where we are. We're now inside the first set of castle boundary walls, and then this is the second set here, and then you're into the castle itself. That's really you're inside the castle at this point. And then, as I said, at the back of Rougemont Castle is an exit that goes down and will go across another bridge, and you can see the drop on that side. So potentially that bridge could be quite tall, and it's then going to join up over here somewhere, perhaps with a drawbridge or something. So yeah, that's kind of where I've got to. There's a few more sections here. There's the east gate that I'm looking at there, and then you've got towers all the way around, and then there's a south gate, and then you're back down to the water gate. So there's about 5 or 6 major gates. I think I read somewhere that there was 7, so perhaps there's another couple. There's probably another one with the castle and another one that I haven't quite found yet. So my goal tonight in the stream is to continue on with this process of building out the ramparts between each section of wall between the towers, and just make sure that I can traverse through the various corridors and join those up. Then I can work on the next section and the next and the next until I've done all the way around. I've done about a third of it, and I'm hoping that this weekend streams, today, tomorrow and Sunday, I will get the ramparts done. So that's about a third, and from there I should be then able to kind of plonk points of interest into the environment, and then bring my characters in to actually explore it. And yeah, it's going to be good fun. So anyway, enough said. I'm going to get cracking with these wall sections. So you can see here, this is a prefab. It's a nested prefab. So underneath this prefab are various wall sections that can be separated out. So you can actually click a section and get rid of it and whatever. So this is quite a collection of prefabs in its own right. But you can see I've joined that to the next one, and then that pattern is repeated. So this is the same prefab as that. And you can see I've put it on an angle and sloped it, because obviously the ground is changing height. I think between here and here it goes up and down a little bit, so it may not require quite as much fiddling. But certainly the section over there, I think I remember when I first had a go at this scene, that's got quite a bit of change in elevation, so that could be, and this one, it may have to have steps down and steps up to be able to traverse it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this bit, and then we'll work my way around. Alrighty, if you have any questions about the process I'm following or whatever, or about Zarktor's Realm, please chuck them in the chat. If I can, I've got 2 screens here. If I notice it on my screen here, I'll answer your questions as I'm going. Alright, let me just save that just before I do anything else. Alright, so I'm going to take these sections here, duplicate, move, and then positioning is everything between them. Okay, I need to do a fair bit of rotation there, and placement. So that's the other thing I'm going to have to fiddle with a little bit, is the fact that the exits from these towers, the way that the model is designed, you don't they're sort of on an angle, so you're sort of coming in on this angle, going out on that angle, and it works the way I've done it here to a degree, You can see a little bit of a gap from the outside. I'm not sure that you necessarily see the gap from the inside, which is okay. So what I need to make sure when I come out this side, where the next exit is, I need to probably move that whole wall section in closer. Whoop. So it would probably be this red arrow here. Move that in, and the blue, and see if I can get this lined up. Where am I? Yeah, I should be in there. So that's too close. Move that out, and it's probably in the region of that. You can kind of see it from up top as well, so might be an easier way to sort of position it. I will definitely have to change the elevation. I can see that I'm heading kind of in the right direction to get to the next waypoint, and I suspect with these models I'm going to have to do a bit of fiddling with an extra wall section in here to join things together, but I want to do that after I've got the main thing traversable to know that I've got them roughly in the right position. So let's just have a quick look inside here. That looks like that is closer. That looks almost okay. Perhaps maybe it needs to come up a bit. Let's see how that works. You got to check it on multiple levels to make sure that they're approximately right. Yeah, that looks about right. So out on the same level, that looks like that could work, and that looks like that could work, and then I think this is, yeah, the ground level that we come in on. And you can see in this particular tower there is no way to get into the sort of basement of the wall behind this, and that's fine. Not all of the wall is going to be traversable. You'd have to go up the stairs to the next level in order to get through there. There is a gap. I'm not too worried about that, but it's kind of feels like that could be close to working. I just want to kind of keep these sections lined up with where I've got the grey boxes, because that's the actual map of the city walls. But when you get into the main city wall here, the rampart sections, I can bend it. So around here I've actually gradually sort of angled these pieces to turn a corner. So I can take this and move it around a little bit, but I think I want to get approximately right. I can always add another section if I need to. So I think what I need to join that up is one of those. And then it's kind of difficult. I'd probably need to either move this way or this way. Let's get these kind of working right. I think the angle is wrong. Probably should be a little bit flatter when it's going in there. Yeah, I suspect I'll need to add a section in here somewhere. So this could be a little bit interesting. Very much a trial and error. So I'm just getting approximately where I want them. And I'll come back later and join them up a bit more. Alright, and I've also got to make sure that from the outside the wall doesn't have a gap in it. Otherwise, you know, if in some element of the game you've got to traverse the outside of the city walls to try and get in, you could cheese it by finding a gap like that. So, alright, so I'm coming out here. That kind of looks okay. I'm stepping up. I get to here, and I've got this section. So this guy now would probably need to, I don't know if this is quite right, this doesn't look like it will join, so I might swap that out. Well, that is a gate, but it's not, it doesn't look like the right type of gate. I think it should be one of these. Alright, let's bring that, oop, probably should have done that. I think I'm going to switch this out. This piece here doesn't really work for me. Where did that other one go? There it is. Bring him up so I can see him. Get rid of that one. I doubt whether the walls would have been this fancy back in the day, but yeah, this is where the artistic license comes in to make things interesting. This is the inside of the wall, so I need to rotate that guy, and you can see it's a fair bit wider than the one I had in there previously, so this probably won't need to move too much with those gaps. I might be able to fix that up. Alright, let's see if we can line this up a little bit better. Again, I want to try and keep them in the right position so that it's approximately right. And the angle out this side seems to follow to the next tower, which is good. So now I'm going to just work through, let's get the height of this right. That is certainly not right because the gate is partly submerged under the ground, so I want to bring that up. And I really want the inside ground level to ideally be straight into the gate, like that. But without the sand, so a little bit more pebbly. Without that, that's probably about right. I think that's the height's about right there. So the trick now is going to be to take this first section of wall and bring it up to this height and gradually sort of correct it from here all the way down to that wall. Hopefully get it to line up with those doors without looking too strange. So that will be interesting, to say the least. Alright, so let's just see how this goes. That's obviously too low. Yeah, I think things may need to shuffle the east a little bit. And I can change the height of the wall by just stepping it up and down with these sections very, very carefully, like within maybe a foot. So if you're traversing the walls, you might have to jump up a step, but ideally you kind of just slip up the step. And this sort of change you don't notice when you're running along. Visually you might, but you keep running and you just go straight up. Alright, so this is going to need a bit of fiddling, I think. Okay, let's go above. Alright, feels a bit like the Channel Tunnel between England and France. Apparently they had to dig it in from both ends, from the French side and from the British side, and then somehow they met in the middle. I don't know how they managed that, but it feels a bit like that. I'm just going to slope these off and move them in a bit and slope that off. I'll fix up the alignment when I'm in the proximate area. And I know the height will be out too, but alright, shuffle that way. Red, I think that's that one. Okay, and this one is going to be, so it gives me an idea how much I need to shuffle this stuff. That looks like it could work. Alright, so there's a fair bit of overlap there, so I'm going to take all of this lot and just move it slightly out. And then I'm going to try and close these gaps and see what it does. Now the prefab, this big prefab here is my grey box, so I can get rid of that just to, I think I've got them roughly in the right place now. Let's see if we can come out here. Yeah, you know what I can do with that is actually close that gap now. Because having this one intersect the other one should actually close the gap, and I should be able to walk from this floor level onto this one, and hopefully that's enough of a you don't really notice it from the outside. If you're inside, that could work as long as you can get out through the doorway. and then I think that'll work. I think that'll work quite well. Alright, so I'm going to put it in play mode, and I'm going to try and get in through here, up, come through here, and see if I can traverse across that, even just running and jumping into that piece, and then see what the problem is with this, because I know this stuff inside is not going to be as easy to traverse than the outside. But I just want to make sure I'm in the ballpark, and then I'll tidy up these gaps, and I think by closing these gaps off, this one here will come back this way again, and then that's that section good enough. Alright, so let's have a play. Yes, this is the the south gate. Actually, is it the south gate? Yeah, I think it's the south gate. I'm not sure this one here was a gate, but I may make it one. Alright, so in we go, up the stairwell to the top of the ramparts. Okay, and I should be able to go up another level. There we go. Here, I think I have to jump to get out. Okay, so this is the this wall was already here. Here's the tower that I started building it from. So I'm coming in here. I should be able to go up and have a look. See it from this side. That looks about right. Drop down. I should be able to walk out through that. Brilliant. Okay, and then I've got these gaps to close out. If I'm safe to jump or whether or not I need to run across them. And then this joins up with that. Beautiful. Out the other side, straight off toward that piece of wall. So that works nicely. I can drop down here, and I should be able to go out through this way. Somewhat. It's not too bad. It's probably fall through the wall at some point because there's gaps in here that shouldn't be there. It looks like that. Well, that's a gap. That's a big gap. And I've fallen. Even at that level, it's still pretty close, and that's not quite right. That you can actually get to the ground level. There's going to be a problem at some point because you get stuck underneath the wall. So these do have to be aligned better, but that's ballpark definitely. Okay, so I'm just checking the map. So what we've done is basically take it from, I think it's from this tower here. So we came into the south gate, went up, went across, went through this bit, which is just a tower. It's not a gate, and then we went across to the next piece, which is a gate, or at least I've made it a gate. It's a bit hard to tell from this side. Certainly, modern day does have a road through here, and then obviously it joins up with these other towers, so I think I'm in the right area. That's not far off its road position, and we've got a fair amount to close in this. That's not bad. I think that first piece is smack in the right place. Let's bring these other ones so that we're closing the gaps, and then I'll worry about the rotation and the pieces joining up. I might keep the height about the same because I think want it to step up. Okay, it's not going to need a huge amount of adjustment this side. Okay, so I could even push them close together again, I think. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's now see if we can get the heights just slightly changing elevation as we move forward. And I'll also line them up so they actually, the pathway looks a little bit cleaner. So that's alright. We need to close that gap a little bit, and that looks a little bit too high for my liking. That's better. Okay, that's better. Obviously there's a certain amount you can get away with these objects intersecting each other. At times it's more noticeable, but I can always fiddle with this later. I'm getting quite a big gap there, which might not be a problem. Kind of need to check this from the side. I think that's okay. And this little blocky part in here, this grey section is not. It's not walkable. You're inside the wall. In here, this part is not walkable. I could make it into a crawl space. That could be interesting. Alright, and this one's obviously quite a bit higher. And then we've got that piece there. We're going to move that there, and I'm going to rotate it to, which probably means I'm changing the height a little bit on the ground level, so I need to check that again. Yeah, it's gone down, so I'm going to bring that up. And that's my working distance. Okay. And now I've got to do this fiddling to get the heights sort of averaged out. If it's a 20-foot drop from here to here, I need to average it out between these to make up the difference. So very approximated. Ideally you want it almost not noticeable. Okay. I think that's should be able to step up that. Ideally just run along and be able to get up those sections. And then you're on the right height, you're in the right position. I think that's smack in the middle of where it needs to be. Nice. And I don't think we've got any major gaps in the wall. So it's all about height and rotation now. Doesn't need to. Yeah, okay. I'm going to put it in play mode again. I'm going to walk through it and I want to see if I get through those inside sections. And then I might rotate some of these to get rid of the slope. It's the step, sorry, so you rotate them so that that bit drops and that bit rises, and it cuts up the difference between the height differences. You can see what I've done there. That one actually changes height, but it looks like it's flat. And this one's, you can see the step. This is what I was saying about having the horse riding, so you can actually get across this map a lot quicker. Okay, so let's see if we can actually get through here. There's the ground level popping through. Might not be a problem, actually, to have the ground level there. All the way through. We're into the stairwell. We've got a problem with that wall intersecting, but that in itself might not be a problem. Some sections of wall I actually want to be blocked off so that you can't get through. You've got the stairwell down that you can't get through, so that section of wall may need to come out. And here I can get through, and I should be able to jump through there. This is the section of the wall where the archers would shoot their weapons out through the arrow slots in the wall, so that's why you've got all these sort of segments where they're all standing in their own defensive positions in the middle of the wall. Okay, and then I'm into a gate. So I think this is the south gate here with the portcullis, and we've got a section out here. Yeah, this is the top section, which is cool. So we got to the top section ready to join up that. We should be able to go upstairs on top of the ramparts of the south gate. There's another set of arrow slits, and from here the only way up is actually to jump it, and I'm up on top. And now we'll just check out this stuff. Alright, so that's the highest section. Alright, so down we go. Down won't be a problem, but coming back up we might need to jump in order to traverse it. in through the doorway, out through the other side. Beautiful. Let's see if we can get up here without jumping. So far so good. Okay, that's good. Of course, this is going to depend on the characters. This is not a real character here. This is Gaia's player character, which might be able to jump up those steps more easily. But I think what I want to do with this section is just rotate them maybe at 1 degree or something, and that should sort of join up these sections and make it one big slope rather than a lot of steps. But I think I'm pretty happy with that. The dog's barking again. Alright. Just very slightly. I guess what I'm looking at here is, does this bit join up with this bit here? So that this thing looks like it's in a line, and that'll tell me that the handrail is probably in line as well. So it's quite steep on this section. It looks like that's split apart, so I probably need to raise that up and just rotate that back into place. Okay, that's good. And then this one, might be a little bit more fiddly. It looks like it's too high, but then when you get to this bit, it's too. Bring that down a little bit. Yeah, not too much. Of course, the other thing I will be doing is actually carving away at the land on this side, so that because you've got a ditch on this side. So I'm not too worried with what it looks like on this side, but I do want it to try and be the right elevation on the inside. So I'm concerned with what it looks like on the other bit. I don't really want it to be like sand going through. Yeah, that's probably as much as I want to do. So I need to bring this guy up and then gradually sort of close that gap through a little bit of elevation, a little bit of rotation. It's probably a little bit low. Bring that up. Okay, that's following the ground level a little bit. Let's see how that looks. It's not too bad. Could work. It's supposed to look a little bit messy. And I think that will be traversable given how I've done the other sections of wall. I think that should work through there. It's not too bad on the outside. Anything I need to patch up, I can put another wall section, a fake wall section in here to cover those odd bits, but I think possibly a little bit noticeable with the timber coming through. And this looks good with the cobblestone coming through the dirt. That's all fine. I can fix up this prefab here. I can copy these sections and do things like that to sort of have that partly submerged, just to kind of indicate maybe there's a pathway, maybe there isn't. And that's, I think, pretty good. Kind of works. Alright, let's give that a save, give that another play test, and then I think if it's traversable all the way through, that's all I need. I'm done. I'll come back to this stuff later to add a bit of detail, but it's good enough for building out the level at this point. Alright. I'm going to go in through through this gate over here. I need to find out what this gate is called. There's the east gate there. I don't. That's the south gate. I don't know what this gate is called. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's go ground level first. Yeah, okay, so with a bit of ground. That's okay, bit of that. Can't quite get through that section. Okay, so I need to bring up the wall, at least in height, or carve out some of the ground so I can actually get through there. I can't crouch with this player controller, so I can't go through there at all. So I need to bring up the level, but I can go the other side and then back down by the look of it, and I'm okay there. Then I hit that wall. So it could be this section of wall you can't traverse at ground level. It might be a bit limited to sort of move through there. Okay, that's all fine. Individual prefabs I can remove, so that wall there I could remove part of that section of wall to be able to get through. That could be a little bit tricky to do, but I could remove that wooden piece. The problem I've got is that I can't get up to the roof, I think. Yeah, I can't get up to the roof on this section. Let's go in here to the next piece, and there's no way to get up on this, which makes it interesting. Not all sections are the same. Some are predictable, some are not. Okay, so I'm at the south gate, and so this is this tower that has a weird configuration. So you can't go down. You can only go across. Okay, so I'm walking now across to this new section. That works quite nicely. I'm quite pleased with that. Yep, and then that'll continue off that way. Cool, so that's that section done. Alright. Good enough. For the moment. And it has to change elevation. It's not a flat city, there's a hill, so it obviously has to gradually go up. Okay, so I'm going to continue on that pattern, and I think that's right. Yeah, one of those, then one of those. Okay, so this section isn't quite as wide. I probably don't need quite as many sections. I think I might start with 4. Looks about right, and I might level them out because I think these two towers are approximately level ground or thereabouts. That's pretty damn close actually, and it's almost in the right location. So let's start it correctly. A little too much overlap. And then I'm going to need to move this tower to join up, so that could be interesting. So here I've got a tower with 3 entranceways, ground level, or at least ground level on the inside. 2, 3, and then this one's got a window, so if you went along the top of the ramparts, you're not going to get in through the window. But that's okay, it doesn't have to. It just makes it more interesting to. You're going to have an intricate way to get from one side of the city to the other around the wall. It's not going to be all running around the top of the rampart necessarily. The height is not quite right there. That needs to be submerged more like that, I think. Which means these need to come up, possibly. Actually, that now walks in there. That's not a window, that's a door. That is fine. Okay, that is good. Alright, turn off that. Do I have any other? Yeah, I think I've got a. I think I've actually got. Yeah, going to get rid of that. And now I need to unhide that one that I just put in there. Put that back in. Awesome. Okay, that looks like that could work. Just need to bring this one down again. Get rid of that box. There we go. Alright, and slight change in height. Looks like we've got a box there. Grey box. Yes. Hide that. And I probably need to put these monkey. Get rid of that tab. I probably need to put these. Let's put that behind there. I don't need that there. Okay, that's better. I probably need to put these wall sections into folders to make it easy, like the south side and the west side, because I'm starting to get a lot of pieces here and I don't know where they. So that one's way over there. Just the hierarchy makes a bit of sense to me. Okay, so I'm in here. That looks not bad at all. Straight into there, and then I should be able to go up to the top, and that should be fine. And then inside, that looks pretty good actually. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay, and then that should. Okay, I need to be able to get up and down that staircase. That will be a problem. So I need to pull that out, or at least rotate and shuffle. That looks a little bit better. The wall's still in the way, so probably a little bit more on this side. Yeah, you can kind of see it intersecting here, which probably means that it's going to have to intersect in other places too. Okay, the grey box is not showing, that's good. Can we get through? That looks pretty good. Can we get through up and down that stairwell? Yes, that looks about right. Okay, playtest. Where are we? Yes, we want to go to that one. Alright, so let's try it at ground level first of all. So far so good. Brilliant. Okay, so we can go all the way through. That doesn't go anywhere. We're out at ground level. That can be dug away if need be to make that work. This rubble looks about right, sort of the right height. Let's go up a level and see if we can. Yep, that looks about right. Yep, through there. Jumping over those barricades. Okay, that's again a problem, but I think that's just taking out that wooden beam and I should be able to jump into that stairwell somehow, hopefully. If not, it's just not a way through. Let's take this one. Let's just make sure this joins up. Yep, so if you're in the gate part here, you can get through to this part, which is where those archer windows are. Requires a little bit of a jump. That's okay. And that looks good. Out this side. And up. Oop, that looks a bit odd. Fix that, and we're through this side. Yep, cool. So the bit that looks odd is down here. I think, yes, okay, so it's off to... Which way am I looking? Okay, so that's that segment that you can't get through, so that's what I need to fix. It looks bad, and I want to just pull it away from the wall a little bit so it gets rid of it. So where is that section? I think it's up here. There we go. Alright, so I want to get a camera position where I can control the movement and move it just very slightly. Pull it away. And still allow me to get up and down through those sections. That looks okay. They intersect a little bit still, that's good. Just to have some continuity. The ground level here looks good. And this shouldn't make much difference on this side. Cool. Alright. That should have got rid of that issue completely. So we go up those stairs. There won't be a way through. It's blocked off now. But this is where this... if we go through this wall, maybe what you do is you pull on this thing and it opens a secret passageway, but effectively now you're inside a section that isn't supposed to be traversable. So maybe you do it in crouched form, but you can get through the whole wall this way. Anyway, we'll see. See if I leave that in there. Alright, so that's good. And we're up to there. We now got a fairly level section. This one should be pretty easy because it looks almost completely level. So that's good. Those sections are quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take... I might take these ones over here, simply because I think they're already level and they'll be a lot easier to copy and paste. Duplicate and then move that all the way over there, up and around. Okay, let's see how that goes. Yep, not bad. We're in the vicinity. Okay. Again, I think what I'll do is take these end pieces and get them to line up with the entranceways and the wall set, close off the wall section, because there's obviously a gap there, and we want to make sure that that is not going to be a problem. Let's get rid of that prefab there, and then I'll do the same with the other. I'll do the same with the other end, because I think this tower is roughly the right place, and then gradually join them up and rotate them so that they join those 2 points together. That's the right way to do it. Okay, so we're coming out of that gateway there. Not sure if the height's exactly right, but we'll work with it. Probably down more and in more. Yes. Okay, that looks approximately right. Yep. That looks pretty good. That doesn't look good. That's not supposed to be doing that. So move that out. Or I could rotate it out. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of shuffling of a few things, I think. Let's just see if we're going in roughly the right direction. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think the trick is to get the towers joined to a piece so that you've got, because that's fiddly, whereas these bits are not quite as fiddly. So it's worth getting these sections in traversable first. See, that's a problem with the gap there, so that you have to close that out. All right. Okay, a bit too high. That looks better. That could be a problem, get through there. Okay, we're coming out that side, the top of the ramparts, and then out this side. Hopefully not too much of a drop. Yeah, it's too much of a drop that side. Okay, so I need to raise that up. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, I think that'll work for that section, assuming we don't have too many gaps. A little bit of a gap. I think the only issue with it being there is this section here is visible, but I can hide that piece, I think, like that. Or put a piece of wall in front of it to fudge it. Okay, then I just need to bring these sections in. I'm going to do the section of wall on the other side and get that roughly in position and then join them. I think it's going to be much quicker. Alright. Which section is this one here? Right, so we want to bring that way back. And that should still be traversable into there. That looks about right. And we should also be able to get to the top and down. Okay, next level down. So that needs to be hidden. That's not quite right. That's not quite right either. That looks a little bit too high for my liking. Okay, and then we're down at this level. And it's quite possible that the ground may need to be dug out because of these low bars in places. Alright, let's have a look at that. Looks like the ground actually does change height a little bit here as well, so this may shuffle. I can see I've got a gap in there, that's no good. I think that's better. Alright. Okay, let's get these approximately in position. And assuming there's no major gaps, there's a bit of one there. Okay, alright, time for a quick play test. I think that tower's in just the right spot, so that's good. So I'm going to hide the fake tower. And we'll see if this is traversable. So you can see one of the problems I'm going to have to deal with here is that the level of detail, the LOD on these models it has a clipping distance here, and that clipping distance I'm right at the outside of it because it's, as I move past that, it might be like 500 meters or something. As I'm moving beyond that, it's actually clipping the wall, but it's actually keeping the inside staircase visible. So I will need to increase the distance, I think, so that it doesn't clip the wall. Generally, you're not going to be able to see that distance anyway because there'll be buildings in the way, but that is a bit of a problem. So there's the cathedral, and these are all points. There's another church, lots of churches in Exeter. Here's another key point of interest. Let's just have a look at this wall from the inside here. So it doesn't look too bad. We've got some light coming through there that looks a bit odd. This looks okay. You can kind of jump up on these things and kind of get up to this section, but you can't get any higher. Okay, and then I'm out on this tower, so I'm going to go in this tower, see if I can get back through the wall at ground level. No, I'm getting that thing where I'm stuck again, which is why I need to channel out the ground, I think. Through here I should be able to get back to the main stairwell. Yep, that's good. Go up a level, and then I'm in the archers part. Okay, I'm into this stairwell, and I should be able to go up. And that's in the way a little bit, so that's a little bit messy. But I can make it through. That looks a bit odd, so I think they're a little bit too close together and they're clipping too much. Kind of get through that gate. Goes up and then it seems to go down again, so there may be a little bit of angling on these pieces to close that gate off. That step is too high because I can't get in there without jumping. Okay, so I'll try and remember all that. Alright, so let's just start with this part here. So that is definitely not high enough. The angle on that looks okay. I'm going to bring that up a little bit. That one looks okay. That one looks okay. Then we've got this step here. So I'm actually going to just flatten this out again so that it goes back down the hill. And that's probably a little bit extreme. Okay, so coming back into here, we had the two prefabs intersecting too much in the stairwell. So this shouldn't be in here as much. So what we're going to do is take this one, the tower itself, and shuffle the tower back a bit so that it gets rid of that clipping. Maybe not that much, but certainly a little bit more. Hopefully we can get across there without a problem. That looks better. That still probably needs a bit more. Okay, I just want to be able to see what I'm doing. Bring that back. You do want them overlapping, but not. Ideally, they plug completely together, but because we're coming in at an angle on this doorway, we need to do something about this gap in here. So it's, I don't think it's going to work unless I rotate that bit a bit more. Maybe even a bit more than that. So I don't want to change the angle out here too much either, because otherwise I'm going to have a problem on the other side. Okay, that looks approximately right. Now I need to make sure I'm coming out of this door and I'm going straight towards that one. That looks kind of okay. This guy may need to rotate to the average between this wall and this wall. And also, I don't quite know how this is going to join up, because this doesn't have the same sections as those other ones. I think this may actually sit on top of some other piece, so I'm not sure. Alright, let's take a look at that. Yeah, possibly the height. I can dig that out. I can change the ground height if I need to. Cool. Something I've actually not been using in Gaia is the when you're doing the player controller, is you can actually save bookmark positions. So that's what I may do here, because I've not been using that at all, just to save a bit of time. So I'm all the way down here. It's going to take me a minute to walk over there. And I think if I do left shift B, I can save a bookmark. Because now I'm working up the other end of the city, I don't want to be walking across it every time I'm going to run a test. So. Alright, I'm getting in the vicinity now. Let's save a bookmark around here. Left shift B. Left shift, left arrow, right arrow. Cool. Okay, so look, these bookmarks saved here. Cool. Alright. Hopefully it will save till the next session. There we go, I can jump to it at the moment, but hopefully it retains it. Okay, so let's just check that this is traversable. Yep, you have to kind of jingle jangle your way through the stairwell, but that's okay. That looks like that's correct. Down to ground level. Yeah, that's workable. That's definitely workable. Alright, so this next section is going to be interesting. With that, I don't know quite how they join up. I may have to have a look at the list of prefabs and see what fits best. Right, and we got a change in height. This is this the right height? Yeah, I think it's the right height on the inside. Yep, so that's okay. That's the right height there. But how do you join that lot with that lot? I don't know. And this is where this other set of assets may come in. Let's take a look. buildings. Medieval castle complete. Right, Rampart Entrance. Okay. Pop that window out. Take a look at these assets. So that is a normal section of wall that's it's got a gate on the inside. I haven't been using this so far. I've been using some other ones. This doesn't have any stairwell section, so it's just a straight section, and it's an entrance at ground level, but not an exit on the other side. So it's a way to get into the ramparts, but it's not. It's just a section of rampart. We've got this, which is pure stairwell, and it's got the arrow slits there. So there's obviously an archer's section up here, and that's a normal rampart section. So I think I've been using that. We've got that one. I think I've been using that in places, and this one. Again, they're all 4 sections, so 1, 2, 3, and on top of the rampart. So these sections are all compatible with one another. The portcullis is compatible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Central courtyard building, no. Tower corners. So these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so I think these complete bits are okay. It's these other sections. It might be these rampart sections here. Alright, I've not done anything with that. I don't know quite how to wire that in yet, so I'll leave that. And then we've got this one, that's got 4 sections. That one's got 4 straight section with doors. So that's got an entrance. That's got an entrance at the 2nd level, so that's interesting. So you could have ground level coming in here, or a floor coming in here, but that's maybe the base ground level underneath. So that's interesting. Okay, that's a short section. Stairs entrance. Right. And then these are sort of pieces that can be used to fill in the gaps. So that's what I was talking about with these sort of parts where you can put a piece of wall in to just conceal a gap between 2 sections that don't quite join up properly. So there's angled pieces here which look like they are going to be useful in places. What was I looking at there? I thought that was a bridge section. I'll look at that. Oh no, it's just it looks like just archway parts. Portcullis sections, roof sections. Oh, that looks cool. I don't think I've seen that piece in there before. There's another shield. Turret sections and doorways. Yeah, there's so much to choose from here. It really is Lego. And I haven't really been playing with it at this level of the individual prefab. I'm using these completes at the moment, which are nested prefabs. So these are, 30, 40 prefabs inside these. Alright, so here we go. Turret towers. I think this has got more. I think this is the real castle section here. It doesn't look like a wall section. It looks like a tower within the main boundary of the external wall. Make your tower as tall as you want. I've got these tower corners. I have been using those. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4 for the rampart on those 2 sides, so in one side out the other. And another one here that's actually 5 tall. 5, so that's pretty cool. but I need something that will join that other gate section. So these two look different, variants on a theme. So it could be different to swap them in and out. Okay, there's a section to change height. Okay, that sort of thing might work on the castle side, where you've got to come down the back of the castle down to another level, and join up some levels, because it's quite a steep slope on the castle side. So that might work quite well. Cliffside steps, I have to remember that one. Alright, side door. Okay, so this sort of section here might actually be working in with this thing. Perhaps I might, if I can't find anything, I might switch out this and use one of those other pieces, just so I can finish off the city walls at this point. Keen to just get it done. Okay. Alright, so that's interesting. That's got okay, that might possibly work, because it's got the 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what that looks like in the environment. Pass through. Whoop. It may not work. Looks like a normal wall section from the outside, perhaps. But can you traverse it? That doesn't look quite right. Okay, that possibly could work. Looks, yeah, thing is I've still got to join it up with these 4 exits on this side, unless I block them off. That might work, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try something just to make this interesting. I'm going to duplicate that guy. I'm going to put him on this side, and then I'm just going to join these sections together just to make it a little bit different. Because the whole city's been built with predominantly the same set of prefabs. I just want to change it up a bit as it gets through to the castle side. I want it to be a little bit different. Okay, so in here we've actually got steps down before you flatten out, which could make it a bit more interesting. But I've got to join that in. That could be a problem on the inside of that one. There's a step there. That's a big step. Okay. That might work. Bit of a gap, possibly fillable. that is a little bit too far away. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is close that gap. And then just remove some pieces that might be causing it to not walk through, like that sort of thing. Yeah, okay, that could make it interesting. Okay, up here to next level. Yeah, that could work. So the look of it starts to change a little bit when you get into this section. That could work. Okay, we need that section there. And so here, this stair section, I should be able to pull that out now to change the height, which will make it traversable. Yeah, that should work. That is a little bit of a gap there. I might be able to put something in over the top of that. As long as I can get through there and the height is approximately right, I can fix that. Alright, then are we coming out the right side? Oh. I need to turn it a little bit. Okay, it's probably broken something. Oh no, it's close enough. I think it's close enough. I need to bring it back a bit though. That looks cleaner. Yeah, that works better. It's actually looking in the direction that it's going to be going in. That could be a problem, that step up there, but what I can do to fix that is take these steps, duplicate them and take them down to the ground with me. It's probably the slow way of doing it, but I want to keep my eye on where they are. Alright. Down another level. Okay. And then we'll rotate them around that way and see if they can change the height in here sufficiently. It's actually part of the external wall, so I don't want to get rid of that completely. But the fact that there's some stones out the way, I think that's kind of okay. It looks interesting. Can't go anywhere under here, but you can go out this way. Cool. Alright, that's now facing in the right direction. Excellent. Alright, so now I've got two sections that are the same configuration. and I just want to create a wall between these two. So if I make it the same height like I did before, I think it was this section here, it was pretty straightforward. Duplicate those. I'm going to move them right over there. And plug it in that gap. Oops. Yeah, I picked too many pieces. Doesn't need, probably only needs 2 or 3. Maybe 3. There's a bit of a change in height. Actually, that's the wrong way round. This step here, this little turret thing here, shouldn't be like that. So I think what I want to do is take that guy out and put these ones in its place. That's better. So that's every other one. And then I can slightly rotate them, shuffle these two over that way a bit more. They have to be spot on, but in the ballpark. And these might rotate slightly on the way through. Okay, let's see what that looks like up close. There's a bit of a gap there. Okay, well, these look like they're tilting. Step up, and we're into this section. Step down, step back up. Okay, cool. And that's going to close up a bit more. Alright, let's see what that looks like. It's not too bad. Through into this section. Alright, time for a playtest. Save. Now, did it remember those save locations? So left shift, left arrow. Yes, that looks good. Alright. So here's that new gate section. That's a problem, can't go through that. Okay. And of course there's no stairwell in this section. It's supposed to be just a throughway. I can't get into that section because there's no way in. I don't think I can get into this section either. So I think what I need in one of these wall sections is actually one of those gates to get into the wall, not necessarily to pass all the way through. Okay, let's go up on the top of the ramparts because we know we can get through that way. Oh, we had an error. Okay. There's a blank object somewhere. Okay. Alright, so here we should be able to go up to the top. See everything, so you can see the clipping there on that level of detail on the wall. You can see the stairwells up inside, but the wall's actually been hidden because it's gone too far away. Alright, let's go down a level. This is this new section. There, we got another problem there. Okay. Back up the other side and across, and there is actually a stairwell, or the stairs down, but it obviously doesn't go with that section, so that needs fixing somehow. Let's try getting into this bit. Let me in there. So I need to do something to get in that area. Be able to traverse through that bit. I think it's from this bit to this bit that's the problem. Yeah, the stairs off here. I wonder if that's supposed to be higher. Okay. I don't know quite what to do with this section now. I'm a bit perplexed as to why these bits don't join. I may need to redo it with a different piece. Okay, so what's going on the back of here? That's a building. The wall comes across here and then joins up with this section, but I need something to turn this corner quite sharply, so I think I'm going to need another tower in there, and then that will go across and join with this. I think the issue is I'm using this one and it really doesn't want to join up with these other pieces. which makes me think of just removing this whole these pieces. It's a shame. I just don't know how they're going to join up. There's got to be something here I can use. Okay, so that might be interesting. Yeah, okay, that might possibly work. So we've got entranceways through on 4 levels, but on this side there's only one, which would go into this thing. I'm just thinking how that would work. You should know where that would work is over here. That might be how we change the... Actually, they're only coming in on one side now the other. It's not angled. So that piece probably belongs behind the castle here in that sort of area. Okay, let me work on this angle. I've got to turn this corner from this angle to this angle. I think I've got pieces that will do that. So 1, 2, 3. So this is a normal rampart wall section. Tower corner. It's the reverse of that. I think that's more like it. Yeah, that should work. That one should work. Okay. Right, let's get this one glued in position, because then I can go hopefully straight across, and then the only issue is here. Let's get this one approximately in position. There's definitely a lot of height changes on this side of the castle. Okay, so I'm coming into this from this piece. So they need to be squared up. It looks approximately right. Well, that's probably too high. Okay. And then down a level into the gatehouse. And we should be able to get out that bit. That's a gap, that's a problem. Okay. So they're intersecting quite a bit now. I just hope it's enough to make it traversable. That looks okay. That looks okay. And then the ground level hopefully is about right. Okay, it's a little bit too low. Nice. Cool. Okay. And that I can put a set of steps in there to get up that, or just jump it. Which means I'm now coming out on this wall, facing almost in the right direction. I could curve the wall a little bit out from this point across, but I need it to have the same configuration with this Ramparts 3+1. which means this thing is really not going to work. Yeah, it's not doing anything for me. Looks good, it just doesn't fit with the rest of it as well as I thought it would. Okay, so let's put that guy down out of the way. So we've definitely got these sections with entrances in there. I'm going to put colours one. That looks right. Okay, let's make an executive decision now. This will require a lot less faffing around than what I was doing. Let's put this huge piece in and then take these, move them out, take that, delete that. Get this guy in roughly the right position. Okay. At least from inside the city it needs to look like you've coming down the pathway ready to exit the city. That looks good. It's about the right height. It is. Needs to be forward more than that. Okay. Looks about right. Now this side, and then there's probably a bridge or something across here, or a drawbridge. Better still. I don't know that they had drawbridge sections in this, so I might need to make one. Okay, then we've got the 3 plus 1, so we just need to join these 3 plus that up to these 3 plus that. So that could be a little bit fiddly. Let me see what I can do with it. There's not a lot of space here to do it, so it could be a little bit tricky. But I think it's going to be easier to line this up than the one that I was working with before, because the entrances just didn't match. And I may need to shuffle. Actually, rather than shuffle all this, I might shuffle this, because otherwise it has this domino effect on the whole wall. I need to redo sections, so I'll try and get this one right first. Okay, so there's the exit onto the top of the ramparts. Looks approximately right. Height change is not too bad. Alright, and maybe it is 4 sections in here now. Yeah, quite possibly. So I'll put a thin section in there. Anyway, let's see what we do with these ones. That could be an interesting turn there. So I'll put that one on more of an angle. Ooh. And shuffle it. Okay, that looks approximately right. I know I've got a stair section that I can put into this because I've used it before. In fact, it's probably still in there. Where are you, stair section? I think it's in the basement. Where are you? May have disappeared from the other one. Okay, don't worry about it. I can find it again. So I think that's right. Okay, look for gaps. A bit too much overlap on that one. And too much overlap on that one. Right. Okay, and a little bit of rotation to smooth the difference between these. Okay, that looks like that could work. Alright, time for a test. Okay, so left shift, left arrow. Is it going to do that? Yes, there we go. Cool. Okay, so this is my new gatehouse through, so the new east gate. Obviously it's not in exactly the right position, but it's roughly right. And these I can now should be able to get back to this section. That's good. Nice. Cool. Go up a level. Jump to get in there. Yeah, that's cool. Through to this section. Nice. And this bit here should be, it needs to go straight across, but because it's such a long section I can make it a bit windy if it needs to get there. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. I think that will work quite fine. Just take the wall out directly ahead. Nice. Alright. So I can take out that. So yeah, if I can sort of get to here and maybe even, look, I'd be happy if I get to here tonight and then maybe a little bit more, maybe one more section. Don't know what I'm going to do here. I think I might need the tower where that angle changes dramatically, because I think there was a tower there. Yeah, if I get this section, maybe this section done tonight, then it just leaves this run down the north wall, and then the city boundary is done. And then I can start working on cutting out the terrain tomorrow to, finish off the wall tomorrow, on tomorrow's stream, and then be channeling out some of the ground around the outside, and maybe for the River X through here on the outside of the wall, which means I've sort of finalised the height of the wall then, and then I can work on placing buildings inside the wall and these inside city walls. So there's obviously 2 sets of walls into the castle. I think this is called the outer bailey, and then there's the inner bailey, and then you've got the city ramparts, so it's quite well defended. And then there is this out the back of this, there's this wall. Ooh, there's this section of wall that is going to run from here across. So I'm probably going to extend out this part of the terrain here and dig this out more, because it's quite steep. There's quite a steep incline down. I mean, it's almost vertical from here. And then run it up the other side. There's obviously some road or something that runs this side with a bridge running across, possibly a drawbridge between the castle and the edge of the bridge. I mean, it's a bit hard to see what's between this and this. You know, does that bridge join up with some other gate here? I don't know. I'm just using this as a bit of a guide, but I can see that there's a tower here, which I think is this one. You've got the main gatehouse piece here, and then another piece here, and then it just continues around. So I've added this section on top of this. I think this is going to be a straight run, and this will be a straight run, and then a bridge with a drawbridge perhaps. Alright, time to save. Okay. I really don't like why I'm getting this error here. It's Task Atlas. Right, okay. Task Atlas is not happy. That's fine. It's not a problem. I'm not using Task Atlas at the moment. I will be, but I'm not too worried about it. Might have been just a conflict between the Gaia Shift B thing, the bookmark thing. That should be fine. Plonk in some of those. That should join up, and that should get us pretty much as soon as I've got to there. The level parts around the back of the city are done. This part's tricky because it changes height quite dramatically, and I think again there's another tower. I'm going to assume that there is approximately here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a tower. Whoa, it doesn't do that. I'm not sure if it's the right type for what I need, but it's a placeholder. And then I'm pretty sure there's one, maybe even 2 here. I think there might be another one on this change of level. Something like that, and then there's a straight run down to this one and a straight run down to there, but obviously the big difference here is you've got a slope. It's like the other side, it's got a slope down gradually, so these sections join up and it's still walkable without having to jump. But yeah, I think that's from memory. When I built the scene last time, I had tower sections here that would then join up, because this is the bit that's most defences. Most defence is this castle section, and the barracks were originally around here, so that's obviously what they're trying to protect. Okay, let's do. I can feel the scene is now a little bit sluggish, and it doesn't worry me too much because I have built this whole city rampart section before in a previous iteration of this project, and without any buildings in the middle, but I was able to actually run the scene. It just got a bit sluggish because these are very, very detailed meshes, and whilst they've got a level of detail in them, you can see these are being cropped out in the distance here. There's no other optimizations running in this scene, and it's doing a lot of rendering on this thing out in the distance that it doesn't need to do. So I'm going to use something called Imposters, which should take this stuff and basically from this distance make it into a 2D, almost a 2D texture, and then as you get closer to it it'll swap out a bit like the level of details. But I can feel just moving around the scene the responsiveness is a little bit slower than certainly when we started the scene when it was empty. It's definitely getting a bit more solid. So I think once the wall is all the way around, the scene will start to slow down a bit, and that's maybe where I'll start looking at the optimization before we go putting all the other buildings in. Otherwise it'll be really sluggish, I think. But as I say, there's no optimizations going on in this scene other than the levels of detail that are defined on these prefabs, which are, let's have a look here. Yeah, these sort of things. So you've got a culling at this distance, and certainly I need to mess with the culling on this because what it's doing is culling the wall, but it's not culling, and it shouldn't be culling the wall at all, not until we're very, very far away. It's not culling the top of the ramparts, it's not culling the staircases inside, it's culling the wall, which means you can't, what it should be doing is culling the stuff you can't see. Which is I think where these other optimization tools will come in, is to cull stuff that doesn't need to be drawn at all. There's no reason for these staircases inside the wall to be rendered when you're on the outside, so there's some optimization to do there. Alright, enough blabbering. I'm going to get on with copying these sections of wall, because there's quite a long section. I think what I'm going to do is copy this section of wall here. It's just going to be a lot quicker than trying to place them all individually. Still have to move them all, but at least copying the whole section is going to be a little bit easier. So I think it's about this long. Let's do something. Something like this. I've been working in Blender throughout the week on my Tintagel scene, getting that ready, and of course the rotation controls are different. Instead of right click to rotate, it's the middle mouse button, and just you get in after a few hours of working in one mode to then switch to another tool that's doing the same sort of 3D geometry stuff. It's very easy to get confused what your keys are between the tools. Alright, so let's plonk that roughly where we are. That looks in the ballpark. And we want to flip that 180, and it's probably going to be a little bit straighter than this, but look at the length of that. That's pretty good. Actually the rotation doesn't bother me, it's nice to have a bit of variety in it. Actually that's pretty good, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Alright, so let's join up this section here. From this end, and then we can move it across into position. Definitely a height change going on, and I don't like that slope, that's not quite right. Okay, just get that first one in. That's right, it does need to kind of curve, I think. Alright, so, and I'm happy to move this wall. I've got enough space in there for another one, that's good. Okay, so I'll add one of them, and plonk that in there, and then I can shuffle this around and move it to match a little bit. What I'd rather do is actually get this piece glued onto that in the right proximity. Okay, that's quite a bit of difference in height by the look of it. I think that's how much difference we're going to make up across the length. and the position's probably about right, I think. Yeah, I think the height is about right. And I think I can take out... no, that grey box is fine. I want to take out that box. Alright, let's see a bit better now. Okay, so he's... looks like he's about right. I'm going to go inside the wall and just check if I can traverse from the gatehouse. Oh God, where am I? I want to be... let's get rid of that gate part. We don't need that at the moment. And we don't need that. That's better. That's much better. Alright, so we go in through the gate and we can go out through this into this joining section. So we're now in the tower that's been joined to it, and then we can go through into this section. If I remove this piece, we can jump through, and that will allow us to get down into the basement section. That looks probably about right, actually. And if we continue going up, we should be able to get onto through this doorway here. Yeah, so we're coming out of the gatehouse on top of the ramparts into this tower section, which we can go up onto the roof if we want to. But we can also go through onto the ramparts here. Perfect. So now what I've got to do is take all these sections from this one to here and bring them up to the right height, so it slopes from here to there, curve it nicely and rotate them so that they don't have these steps, and I think this section will be good. So it's not bad. The distance is good. I think I can close off the distance nicely. I know some of them are already rotated, so it's just really a question of positioning them. And you can see if you're on the outside of this wall, the ground, I can put more rocks on this to actually make this even steeper here, but that picture there does indicate how steep the wall section was. Obviously the wall itself, then you've got these sort of footings in the wall. I know they don't show rocks here, but the slope on that's, I don't know, 60, 70 degree slope. So it's probably even steeper than what we've got here. It's probably more like this sort of angle. So I can both add and remove extra ground here and add extra, rocky segments on top. But yeah, it's quite, I think that'll be quite impressive on this side. Okay, so let's get the height approximate and just see if we can gradually step down these sections. So I'm going to start by stepping them down about the width of one of the height of one of these blocks here, and just see if we can get it gradually getting lower. Actually, I need to line them up first because it's not going to work. I need to go above, and I need to do it from above first. Get the curve right. There will be a fair bit of fiddling here to get it aligned. Okay, it doesn't look too bad from a sort of curve point of view. If I get the height approximated now, it should be a bit easier. So you can see the wall sections actually line up. They're sort of flush with each other at least. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, I think that's pretty close actually. I think that's doable. So, let's get a bit closer. So I'm going to allow, see if I can get away with these now sitting on top of that bit, on top of this bit, and just see if I can get that to be my guide as I move forward, to have a uniform amount of height change. That's actually rotated a little bit too much. So I will be doing the rotation on top of this, but I want to get it approximately right to start with. Yeah, this looks like it's going up much steeper now. I might need to come back and adjust this again. Yeah, I think it's going to be too much. I think I'm adjusting it far too much. Alright, let's try. It's definitely right on the end. So this bit here is, this one needs to come out a bit more. This way. Yep. Okay. So, what can I get away with? I'm going to line them up again. Okay, that's almost there. Tell you what, the flat sections are a lot easier than the slopey sections. Okay, so now I can do my height adjustment very, very slightly and see if I can get away with minimal change on the way down. So again, I'm going to try and do, yeah, let's try and get it just one block above the other consistently down here. Oh, I've already got it there, so that's a bit more than that, so I need to drop it down with a bit of a gap. Yeah, that's good. And then this one will need to come up with a bit of a gap. That looks okay. And then this bit isn't slopey very much at all, so it actually looks like it gets steeper as you go further in. It looks like it's rotated, which could make a bit of difference. Yeah, it looks like all of these are a little bit rotated. Okay, I think the next trick is going to be to put it in play mode. See if these are roughly in there. I mean, some of them you may need to jump up, but again, I haven't put any slope on these, so they're all mostly flat, and these sections can slope up to get rid of this jump. But by the time you get to here, you're at the higher point, and that looks great to go in there. It's definitely a difference in height, you can see it. I think what I might do is do a little bit of rotation on these now, just to close the gap and see how it plays. So I'm adding, I don't know, 2 degree slope, I guess, or something like that maybe. And will require a little bit of fiddling around to get them to join up again. Let's have a look at that. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So a big thing I'm looking for is gaps in the wall and where it's out of position. So that looks like it's too far forwards. Hard to tell. It's better. Just a little bit of rotation in some of these that look a bit obvious. Side rotation. And this block here, I want to get rid of this block. What is it? It is it's going to be one of these points of interest, I think. Hopefully it doesn't. Oh no, it doesn't affect the wall. That's fine. It's just building on the inside of it. I'll come back to that. That looks okay. That looks okay. If we're on the wall, it certainly looks traversable. If we go down a level to the portcullis controls, can we get through this section? That is hopeful. It's quite a long section. Wouldn't be my choice to go through that, but it is doable, I think. We get to here, and yes, we can get into the stairwell. That's good. Can we go down a level and out this one? That looks like that would work too. Yep. Where am I? I've lost myself. Okay, yeah, that's right. So down there is what I want to be. Okay, so I should better walk through this section, which is a little bit easier to traverse than the one with all the archers' windows. So I think this is a section, essentially the ground level one, and then we come out in this gatehouse. So that works nicely. Yep. Alright, give this a quick test run just to make sure that a real player can move through it all, and then I'll move on with the next bit. Okay, so we're in the vicinity. We're going into the east gate, and we're now going through to the castle section of the wall at ground level. A little bit of odd stuff happening there, but that's understandable. A bit of a step, it makes it up. Let me do a run instead of a walk. Nice. Okay, and we should come out. There we go. And we've come out at that tower section and then through into the castle gate. So if we go up a level, try that again. That looks a bit odd there. Okay, that doesn't quite work there. Might be a section of wall I have to take out, but that works and that works. Cool. I should better go down the stairs. I get stuck there, but I can jump. There we go. And that kind of works. Now I'm stuck in there. There we go. That's good. That works. And I can get down. Go through that way, and I'm back into that section. So it's kind of, it almost looks like a maze. It's a bit difficult to get out of there. I'll have to adjust some of these because they're almost too shallow to get through. So something has to change there. A little bit of adjustment, a little bit of fine tuning and testing. But this is the archers section of the wall, which has got these arrow slits. So this is right in the middle of the wall section. That looks okay. This grey area here is the block out for one of those buildings next to the castle, so I know the castle is right behind this wall. And this bit here we have to sort of zigzag in and out of these archer spots, and we should come out at the east gate controls. There we are. There's the east gate, there's the portcullis, and we should be able to keep going. So let me do a quick run, see how far I can get through all this stuff. So I'm just going from one section to the next. And obviously you'd need a mini-map. You'd need to know, because I have no idea where I am in the city at this point. I'd need to go and have a look out here. Okay, I am at the south gate, I think. Or maybe the south gate is the next one. Okay, another little part here. I think that's south gate. And we should come out down. Actually, this is that's the south gate we're at now. So now this is the coming down to the water gate, and I might go up onto the ramparts on the next section just to change it up and go up, 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 up. That's out one side and that's out the other. There we go. Through there. Okay, cool. So that was the Watergate section there. We're now going through to the West Gate. And then we've got this Albatross Tower. I need to adjust those steps a little bit. And we know we've got a gap there to fix. And then we're going out to the northwest corner. The northwest tower. And in we go, and up, and up. Cool. Alright, and then you've got the north gate dead ahead, so I need to join up this section tomorrow. But it's mostly straight section with a bit of a turn here, but I can just curve it around like I did with the other ones. There's a bit of height change, so there'll be some slope. It's got the same configuration with the three tunnels through and one on top of the rampart, and then this section here has to step up quite steeply, and this will be a little bit special, this one. And then it's going to start joining up with these towers that are, I think, mostly observation towers next to the castle. So there's a few of them. You've got the castle over here, and then you've got, this is the castle gate on this side. I know that's another tower, and this is going to join up with this one, which is the castle gate. So obviously some of the terrain has to be fiddled with here to make it join up, but it's approximately right. But yeah, it's quite a drop on that side, but I'm quite happy with how this whole section has worked. It looks like you can get through without too many problems through, 95% of the city walls, either inside the ramparts or on top of the ramparts. There's a few areas like that where I can't get through. I need to remove some timber or something to make that work. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's certainly a bit more playable than what I had it 9 months ago when I first started this level. So I think the angle is about right. I might just take a quick look at the ramparts from the top before I do a final adjustment, just to see if they're walkable or if I need to jump them. I need to go up another level. Come on, get up there. Might need a staircase or something on this bit. I'm on the wrong side, of course. There we go. Alright, so this should be mostly walkable. The slope's a little bit steep. I don't like the steps here. I want to kind of rotate them a little bit more to get rid of that step. But that definitely works all the way through to there. So I'm pretty happy with that, actually. definitely a little bit sluggish now with all the stuff that's in there. I hate to think the polygon count at the moment, so it's going to need optimizing. Okay, let's put a little bit more slope on these to see if we can close out these. Actually, I was doing it a different way before. I was actually on the rampart while I was doing it, which makes it a bit easier to see the degree of slope. Okay, so this one. And whether the height is right, because we want it to start approximately in the right area. That looks about right. Oop. Okay, I'm going to rotate that one. Cool, that works. Yeah, maybe it's another 2 degrees, so it might be like 3 or 4 degrees on this stuff to really make it work. That looks like it's leaning. We don't want the whole wall leaning over too much. Is that another storm? We've had storms every weekend for weeks. Thunderstorms. Summer's been quite hot, but yeah, the afternoon kind of cools off and then you get these storms. Alright, next one. I suspect I'm making gaps here, so I'm going to need to do a little bit more fiddling. The other thing that makes these models a little bit heavy, I think, is the fact that you've got all these lights, all these braziers that are flickering, and I need to kind of turn that off on the prefab and see how that affects it, because I don't necessarily need the lights on the sections. Certainly not how they've done it, but I don't know, I might leave it as is and just put them in less often, reduce the count of them. I don't need quite as many as are on here. Okay, that's looking better. That the very last one, I don't think I'm going to be able to rotate too much at all, because it's coming out of this and I don't want to mess up the bottom part. Okay, that looks... let's take that one and rotate that one a little bit more. Okay, that's just not too bad. I mean, it's quite a slope on this stuff now, you can see. So that could cause some problems, because it could cause some gaps at the top and overlap at the bottom, which might not make it traversable. So I need to probably just... yeah. It needs testing. It needs testing, not so much with the Gaia character that I've got here, but with the actual player characters, to see if their dimensions are different, or if their jump parameters or slope parameters on the mesh are a little bit easier to work with. That's definitely in the ballpark. Let's see if I put a little bit of slope on that. Life a lot easier. Okay. I think it's looking okay. It's definitely got some continuity in the look. I can feel it being sluggish when it's trying to scroll along. There's definitely gaps, so I'm going to need to shuffle stuff all over the place. I might need to just take a section and rescale it on the X to make it slightly wider to close the gaps, and pinch a couple of other areas in to fix that. So I'm not too worried about... I don't need to move the whole city in order to fix a little gap like that. I can fudge it, but I want them roughly right. Okay, there's a little bit too much rotation. Okay. live with that. Let's give it another test run. Okay. Okay. Alright, into the east gate. Let's go up. Actually, let's do it at ground level because that's always a good test if we get stuck somewhere. So far so good. Got a little bit of ground poking through there, which tells me the height is about right. And we're into the stairwell. Yep, and that works. Cool. Let's go up a level and see if we can get back in. That was one of the ones that was causing us a problem. We can't get through that gap. Not easily anyway. That's could be just removing a collider on something so we can get through there. And this one here looks okay. See, inside the wall you wouldn't know that this is curving, and you probably wouldn't even know that it's changing height either. So that works. Let's go up on top of the ramparts. And obviously when you're on the ramparts you do notice the height change, but it's acceptable. It's bound to be changing height. There's a little bit of sloping. Some are slopier than others, but it's kind of, yeah, it's workable. A little bit of alignment that could be fixed, like that sort of stuff. It's just very small rotation. We should be able to get into this door. Yep. Go up on top of the tower and have a look around. That's cool. And maybe even get up on top of this one. Cool. That one, there's no staircase up onto it, so you're not even supposed to be up here. But obviously you can jump it from this other piece, which I think is, you know, if you're going to have collectibles and things like that, or secrets or Easter eggs, having that in a place where you don't normally get to is an ideal way to put something neat there. So I might have a bit of a, you know, those of you who have watched this stream may find some Easter eggs that other people who haven't watched the stream will not find. Okay, so there you go. I think that's all I want to do for the time being. It's been a very long week, so I want to sort of leave it there. I'm at the northeast point of the map where the castle is. This is the castle gate going out, which will go across a very high bridge section that certainly in the 1300s looked like that, and I think this is pretty close to what I'm modelling here. So if I jump out of that, all the way down, take a turn around, certainly the ground would be higher on this side, but if I bring out this picture you can kind of see the bridge is going to be pretty high with these sections. It's even got, you know, defensive windows here, so there might have been another piece over here, and this is all still part of the castle effectively, so this is defensible to some degree as well. So I think that works. I think that we've got the height, it can be even slopier in here, got to dig that out, but I think that's more definitely in the ballpark of what it's supposed to look like from this side. And then I'll bring the terrain out to match the bottom of those rocks, and obviously this stuff will be covered in with wall, and the terrain on this side will be sloped into the wall to sort of make it a bit more like this, or at least to expose these sort of bottom footing areas here where you've got walkways. But no, look, I'm pretty happy with that. It seems to work the way I wanted it to. And yeah, quite a lot of fun to just navigate through these sections, just making sure they all work. There's a section now I'm going to fix up. Can't remember that where exactly we are on the map. We're in this gatehouse here, which is, yeah, okay, so it's the back of the cathedral one. So this isn't the south gate, this is whatever this gate here is. And I need to remove something down here. That's on the base level, okay. Let's have a look at that piece, see if I can identify it. If I fix it now, I won't need to fix it later. Just remove a piece of timber. So it is, where are we? There's the cathedral. There's the piece, and we're in the wall, and we're running through, and we hit. No, it's not that one. And that's on top. So it's this one here. That's the piece. I think we want to remove that. And the question is, with that piece removed, can I get through that gap and drop into there? I think probably I can. Yeah, it looks like it's a drop. And then maybe if I take out those two, that leaves that open. Yeah, looks about right. I think I can work that. I can drop through that gap into the stairwell. I can't get back up on that level from here, but that's okay. There's bound to be areas that are a little bit special. It's definitely sluggish now. So I think it's in here. Yeah, so it's right up here, but that's where that gate section was. So if you drop down, you're going to be able to go that way. If you go up the stairs, that shouldn't be a problem. I suppose you might be able to jump that gap from there to there. I don't know if I'll fit through that gap because of this piece. Which might mean taking out something like that. That might work. Alright, and then we're into here, and that is the same as that one. So yeah, you're going to see the stairwell in this section, but you can't get from here up. You've got to drop down and then go up the stairs. So that's going to need a bit of testing, I think. That's quite interesting. I think it makes it a little bit different. There's going to be sections of the wall that are a little bit different than all the rest. And I think you need that. You need to have, with such a large wall section all the way around the city, it's going to be very samey unless there's different parts. So I might put some ivy on certain bits and change the colour of certain sections of wall slightly so that you get a different, or take the lights out so that you get an idea of which section of the wall you're in. Alright, I'm happy with that. Let's give this this section here a quick test and just to make sure that that fix worked. Cathedral is there. Okay, so I'm looking for that one. I'm going to do my shortcut again. Okay. So I actually want to be inside this one. And I want to be upper level, I think. One more in there. Yeah, I think this is right. The next one, I think this is the next section here. Here we go. No, it's actually the section below that. It's actually the section below. That's interesting. Part of the stairway's gone because I deleted that chunk of concrete. Let's see if we can jump into there. Ooh, it's a squeezy one. No, and not without taking out that post. There's definitely some fiddling with this section here. It's either too high, too low, or whatever. Okay, so at least I know where that is. I can come back this way. There we go. So I'm coming from this side, and I can't get through. Okay. All right. It's a bit of trial and error. I think I know what the fix is though. So we are here. I want to take that piece and rise it up so that the stairwell is continuous. Although I actually want to take it that way, and I think what I want to do is take this post out completely. That should allow me to get through that gap, and having that there should allow me to get out. I think that's going to poke through the wall, so I'm going to scale that instead. Just so it fits in that space a bit better, because it's really just a step on the stairwell. Cool, that works better. Right. Come down this side. Looks like there's an arrow slot there. Be difficult to shoot arrows out of while you're on a stairwell. But okay, and then to get across to that bit, you got to jump the gap. But when you're on this bit, you should be able to come out this way now and jump through. All right, let's give that a play. And then I think I'm done for the night. Okay, into the wall and up, and it's interesting, you can actually run, I'm running along this little ledge on the wall here, which means I don't need to do any jumping. Once you're up there, you kind of stay up there. Okay, that's interesting, that section disappears there. That's the gap that I'm running through. So there's a ledge there, there's something stopping me. It's probably that stairwell, I suspect, but it looks okay. It looks so with a little bit of fiddling like that, and I've taken the post out of the way, so that stairwell is the only issue, and it might just require this piece here to be rotated a little bit, I think. But I might leave that as it is. I think that's good enough for testing, I think. As I said, I'm testing with the Gaia player character at the moment for movement, and the real player characters will have a different profile anyway, so I could be wasting my time if I do too much fiddling with this too early. I think that looks pretty good. So we've got northwest, west, the Watergate, south, north, that's east, and sorry, that's north, south, east, east gate, and then over the hill to the back of the castle to the tower. Sorry, the castle gate is what I'm going to call it. And then so tomorrow, what I'm going to be doing is to join up the castle gate with some of these other towers. There's about three towers here on around the back of the castle, And to make it interesting, I might start using some other sections to embellish this a little bit, because they're not normal wall sections. This is where the castle sits in this inner sanctum area, so I want this to be interesting. So I might start using some of these other connection pieces which have got let me jump that out. Preview window, just make that a bit bigger. Not that piece. Some cliffs we can add in for those steep areas. We've got lots of building pieces that this is obviously castle sections that are huge, and we need the space up here anyway. We've got turrets, so there's these giant turrets here with, you know, even more levels, and tower sections. There's pass-through sections that I'm starting to use now, and turret floors. And so some of these towers could actually be constructed from these pieces to make them pretty much any height. And there's obviously stairwell sections that can join them. And I would just want to, when I come around the castle section, I want to start putting this stuff in a little bit more customized, rather than just dropping in these rampart sections, which is pretty much most of the city has been these standardized sort of rampart sections. I probably will go around the city again and remove the odd rampart section and put in one where there is an entry, an entrance piece on the inside of the wall like this. So it's a normal rampart on the outside, but on the inside it's a straight through tunnel piece, and it's got an entrance into the rampart, so you can get into the, you know, on each section there might be one of these that allows you, when you're running inside the city, to not have to go all the way to the next gate, but just get inside the wall at this point. So I'll probably do that, you know, one in each section of wall. But I think that's all I want to do at the moment. I think that's about 2/3 of the city wall done. You can see it's getting a little bit sluggish now. The difficult part, I think, is almost out of the way. This part is a little bit tricky. This part here is pretty straightforward. It's mostly straight, so there's not much curvature on it, but there's a bit of a slope down the hill. This is pretty flat. This is pretty flat. These are flat, and yeah, it's going to be more of this stuff. So I think that's all I'm going to do tonight, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. Please look me up on YouTube, and you'll find the rest of these recordings from these streams there. So the YouTube channel is Zarktor Studios. You can check out Zarktor's Realm on Steam, and obviously every Friday, Saturday and Sunday evening in Australia time will be the game devlog. So please follow me, and yeah, ask me questions in the chat. You can contact me to ask me questions as well, so contact at zarktorstudios.com, and I will get back to you. Alright, have a great evening or morning or whatever time of day it is wherever you are, and I will see you again on the next stream. Alright, thanks.